My name is Natalie, and I'll be showing you today how to make blueberry blender pancakes. See if you can say that 5 times. I'll show you all the great things that go into these pancakes and the reason why these ingredients are in the recipe. And we can just go to that point. All right. The first ingredient we have is the 2 to 3 cups of whole wheat flour. Now I understand if you don't really like whole wheat, you can just do white flour, or sometimes I'll do half and half. This particular wheat flour is called hard white wheat, and it is a little lighter than the other, like hard red wheat is very heavy, and this is a little lighter and easier to eat. But you still get all the benefits of the whole wheat. Diets that are rich in whole wheat and whole grains are shown to have lower cholesterol, lower diabetes, and lower forms of some forms of cancer. So there's a lot of good reasons to put whole wheat into your cooking. So I started with 3 cups of flour. You can do a little less if you like your pancakes to be a little lighter. We're then going to put in 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is about 3/4 teaspoon salt. I put in a ½ teaspoon yesterday and I didn't like it as much. I like salt. You can play around with that if you want. This is 3/4 teaspoon salt. And then this is 4 teaspoons baking powder. This is so the pancakes can rise. Then you just mix that up, make sure it's all integrated really well. And then create a well in the center. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to mix up the wet ingredients in the blender and then put that right in the middle. Okay, now while we're mixing up the wet ingredients, we're going to get the skillet going. And I like it to be right on medium-high heat, and I like the skillet to be really hot when I'm cooking. That makes it so that the pancakes don't stick, and I get a nice brown on both sides. So that's going to be heating up while we do the rest of the ingredients. Okay, now this is where all the awesome part of this recipe comes in. We have the whole grain wheat already, which is great, but a lot of the other super foods, superfood, what am I trying to say? The super ingredients are right here in the wet ingredients. So we're going to start off with 2 cups of milk. I'm going to be using almond milk, just because that's easier for my body, but you can use regular milk as well. I like the almond milk also because it adds a little bit more sweetness to it. And just fill it right up to 2 cups of almond milk or regular milk. And the blender I'm using is a Blendtec. I'm just pointing this out so you can see things that work well. This blender blends up all the ingredients really well. It also works really well for smoothies. So if you're looking for a good blender, this is awesome. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and ours actually started to go out at like 9 years, 8 months, and they still replaced it. It was amazing. So now we're like on another 10 years. But most blenders should be able to do this. I like it because it's going to blend up the seeds and everything really well. Then we also add a 1/4 cup of oil, which helps it to not stick, kind of keeps the ingredients together. And about 1 cup of spinach. You can use fresh spinach or frozen spinach. And this is one of the superfoods. Spinach, of course, most people know has iron in it, which helps if you have a lot of low energy, and is one of the reasons why I created this recipe, because I was chronically low energy for many years. And so I started looking for ways to get more iron, but you also need things to help your body absorb the iron, which is also in some of these awesome ingredients. So I'll get to that in a minute. With the spinach, spinach has protein, fiber, zinc, thiamine, calcium, and iron. So we're going to put that in. I put this in first on top of the liquid because it helps everything else not splash up on you. You can put it in any order you want, but that's the reason why I put it in this order. The next ingredient is 2 eggs. Of course, that's a good form of protein, but it also helps your pancakes rise. And then we have our awesome other superfood, which is blueberries. Now, the reason I blend these up, the name of the title of this recipe, Blueberry Blender Pancakes, is because I found my kids hated the whole blueberries in their pancakes. I was fine with that. I thought it tasted good, but they wouldn't eat it. So I started blending it, and it turns the pancakes this awesome blue color and makes them taste great. And my kids love it. Like when I start cooking these pancakes, they jump up and down. I usually don't tell them that there's also spinach in it, but they don't know because the blueberries, the color of the blueberries changes the color of the pancakes. So the pancakes aren't green, they're blue. This is about 1.5 cups of blueberries. You can add anywhere from 1 cup to 2 cups, depending on what you want. We really like the blueberries. So blueberries are, the reason they're awesome, they're full of antioxidants, and they also have a property that, they also have vitamin C, which helps your body absorb the spinach, the iron from the spinach. So having blueberries with spinach is really important. It helps your body get that energy out of the food. Blueberries also helps lower the risk of heart disease and cancer. And it's a natural anti-inflammatory. So if you're having problems with your digestion or even with your skin, blueberries can really help with that. Oh yeah, it's a really great food to eat. So you see how it doesn't splash up on you because of the awesome spinach leaves that helped get that. All right, the next ingredient is chia seeds. So you probably can't see this very well, but they're just teeny tiny seeds. And the really cool thing about these seeds is they're packed with all kinds of things: omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants. Sorry, I have my cheat sheet over here. This is 2 tablespoons worth of chia seeds. It also comes with 5.6 grams of protein in your recipe. And these are best served with some sort of liquid because you've probably seen chia seeds in a drink or something like that. They're often put in smoothies. It's always recommended that you eat it with liquid because they absorb quite a bit of liquid. They go almost double in size. And if you just eat straight chia seeds, it's absorbing liquid out of your body, which can mess with your digestive tract and things like that. Not the end of the world, right? But it'll go through your body easier if you mix it with liquid, which is why it's so awesome in pancakes, because we have all this milk that it can absorb. So it's gonna go in there. Oh, I also forgot, it's also a really good form of calcium. So there's all kinds of things in here. If your body is low on any of these things, then you can include chia seeds into your diet. The other awesome superfood is flaxseed. I don't know if you can see these. I don't know, I can't show you. You see those? So flax seeds, in order for you to get the nutrients out of the flaxseed, it needs to be ground up. And that's why a blender is so great, because it will blend up the seed for you, and especially like the Blendtec, because it blends it up really well. You'll notice at the store that you can get flaxseed flour, and that's a pretty awesome idea, except that the more it sits on the shelf out of its seed form, it's actually losing its nutrients. And so if you can blend it right before you eat it, like in this case with the pancakes in a blender, you get the nutrients right away instead of having it lose its shelf life. It's the same with the whole wheat flour. After I grind it, I actually store it in the fridge because it helps preserve the nutrients in the whole wheat flour that you get right from grinding it. When it's in its berry form, the whole wheat can maintain its nutrients, but once it's ground, the nutrients starts to go away. The really awesome things with flaxseed is it helps with your digestion, with the fiber, lowers blood pressure and bad cholesterol. So this is also great stuff to add to your diet. And it gets blended right up into the pancakes. So I'm going to blend it now, and I'm going to mute it because it's really loud. So just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to show you. It has gone this awesome purple color. You can't see the green because we had more blueberries than spinach, and it's blended up everything. The seeds, everything is blended up, but you still are going to get all that nutrients packed into the pancakes. And the plus is the kids love it. I also like it, so it's great. But it doesn't have to be just for kids. I just love that I can give my kids something that they love to eat, and it is packed with things that their bodies need to grow. So we're going to cook them now. And this is how I get my grill ready. I put a little bit of oil on it, but I don't want it like smothered in oil, so I use a napkin to just move that around. And I'm just going to hold on to it right here because every once in a while I'll recoat it with a little bit of the oil. Okay, that's going to be heating up. Now we're going to mix this in with our dry ingredients. So we have the well, right, in our flour. I'm going to pour that right in. You can see it's covered it, right? And we're just going to lightly fold that together. Do you want to keep it over here so that I'm just going to have it so that you guys can see. I'm just mixing it from the sides and making sure I get the flour from the bottom. You don't want to overmix it because it will make your pancakes tough. But then also if you undermix it, you're going to have clumps of flour in your pancakes, which also it doesn't taste very good. So you just keep scraping along the side, and remember to scrape along the bottom as well. And as you're going, just try to break up some of those clumps of flour. Sometimes a little bit of flour, sorry, that was probably loud, can get on your spoon or spatula. So then you just want to make sure you're getting it off of all of those places so you don't get a big clump of flour in your food. All right, now as you see, it's a little lumpy, and we're just trying to go through and make sure we got the lumps out. At this point, if you find that it is not as thick as you want it to be, you can sprinkle a little bit more flour on top to mix in. I found that I like them to be a little bit more liquidy just because the liquid was coming from blueberries and spinach and all those things that I wanted more of in the pancakes. All right, I think we've got all the surprise clumps of flour out. So now we're going to start putting it on the skillet. You can make great big pancakes, but the other awesome thing about this recipe, I got this from a friend when I was little, and I'd go to play at her house. Her mom would make tiny pancakes like this big, and then she'd freeze them, and they would eat frozen pancakes as a snack. And I remember thinking for like 2 seconds, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But then we tried them and they were really good. And these are even better frozen than just regular pancakes because the blueberries and the spinach has those natural sugars in the plant, and it kind of crystallizes. It tastes really good frozen, and my kids love to eat them warm, but they also love to eat them frozen. So I'll make a whole bunch of just little ones and freeze them in a bag in the freezer, and they get home from school, or like right now, they're already home from school. So they come over and get a snack from the freezer, and they're perfect. Okay, now the other awesome thing about this recipe, we put spinach in it, right? So spinach, to unlock even more of those flavors, the nutrients, within the spinach, if you heat it, you can actually get even more nutrients out of spinach. So putting it in pancakes is perfect because it helps get that nutrients into your body from the spinach. We use a lot of smoothies, like spinach in smoothies and different things like that, but it's not warm. It's still giving you nutrients, but it's not getting as much nutrients. I personally hate steamed spinach, but having it blended up in a pancake or something like that, I think is great. And it gives you even more nutrients from the food. So we're just going to put a little bit of pancakes down here. I probably could have added even more blueberries. And then I just kind of space it out a little bit. These are a little bit different than regular pancakes because they do have so much fruit and vegetable fiber in it. So by spreading it out a little bit, it allows all of those to cook completely. But my kids never know how much is in it. They of course know that there's blueberries in it, which is great. And they're a fun blue color and everybody loves them. So then you let those cook a little bit. It'll start making little bubbles, and if the bubble pops and goes away immediately, you know it's still raw on the bottom. But if the bubbles kind of form and then don't pop, then you know it's starting to get ready to flip. Are there any questions while we're waiting? Yeah. Oh, the mic. Sorry, your microphone is muted.
There you go.
Okay.
Have you tried other types of berries or fruit with this recipe?
I have. When we can't get blueberries, sometimes the blueberries are all bought out. So we've used mixed berries with the strawberry, raspberry, and blueberry mix, and that has also worked really well. I like the blueberries because of the strong color, but the mixed berries still gives a great flavor.
Okay, and then just a question, another question, how much flaxseed did you put into the recipe?
Oh, I forgot to say that part, huh? That is 2 tablespoons of flaxseed as well. So 2 tablespoons of chia and 2 tablespoons of flax. And that's a good question. This recipe will be available on the SUU website, and I'll give you that website at the end. It will be available tomorrow so that you can have all those ingredients too.
Okay, Samantha says, thank you. Do you ever use frozen fruits? Susie would like to know.
Yes. In fact, the blueberries I used were frozen. I find it's more economical to use frozen blueberries. You could definitely use fresh. I like the frozen because it gives it kind of that, I don't know, the crystallized texture flavor that I like. I often use frozen spinach as well, actually. These are ready to flip. Let's flip them. So you'll see it turns brown because of the flour and cooking and stuff, but then the The pancakes inside are blue. And I just make a whole bunch of the little pancakes, and then my kids are probably going to eat these for lunch, and the leftovers will freeze, but they freeze awesome. They usually don't last in our freezer very long, but I would say like you could probably leave them in there about 3 months. Ours are usually gone before then, but they would be good for about 3 months. Any other questions? I think I probably went through that faster than I should have.
Yeah, so some of our viewers would like for you to go through the recipe one more time, the ingredients that you used and the steps.
Perfect, that's great. Yes, I can do that. So we start off with 2.5, sorry, there we go. Okay, so we start off with 2.5 to 3 cups of flour. It depends on how much fruit you decide to add. So this was 3 cups of flour with the 1.5 cups of blueberries. I probably could have gone down a little bit on the flour. I had 2 tablespoons of sugar, 3/4 teaspoons salt, and 4 teaspoons baking powder. And then mix that up in the dry ingredients bowl and put that into a well so you can pour the wet ingredients inside. And then we'll come over here. I'm just going over here because this is where my wet ingredients were. In the blender, we're going to put 2 cups of milk. That can be almond milk or cow milk or whatever milk you like to use. And then a cup of spinach, 1/4 cup of oil. Trying to remember everything. The blueberries was 1.5 cups of blueberries and 2 eggs. And then you add 2 tablespoons of chia seeds.
Hold on, Natalie, I'm trying to type this in. So our wet ingredients are 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of spinach.
Yes. A 1/4 cup of oil.
Okay.
2 eggs. Let me think, 1.5 cups of blueberries. Oh, the oil I used, this is just, of course, why did I forget the canola oil? A while ago, I did research on oil, and out of the cheap kinds of oil, this was the best for you. It's definitely not the best oil for you in the world, but it's an affordable good for you oil. So that's why I use canola oil. All right, where were we? You got the blueberries? Oh, I need to pull my pancakes off. So then, I'll just show you one of the pancakes. Oh, let me pull them all off first, sorry, so they don't burn. Okay, so then these pancakes are nice and brown on the outside, but then blue on the inside. And they taste great frozen. They taste great with syrup. I'm gonna turn this off for a bit. Did I get, I think we got all the ingredients. So, and that's how you make blueberry blender pancakes. Yay.